Hey there, my name's Grant. I'm from Slidecrew, and I wanted to just show you through a little bit of a demo, just a quick overview of what Slidecrew is about. So the concept is we're all about presentation file management for events. So the very first thing that we're going to do is we want to send an email out to all of the presenters to be able to upload. What they're going to get to is they'll get their email and they'll click it and they'll come through to a portal like this, where for this one, Dior is being asked to upload a presentation as well as an e-poster. And so the presentation is there. One of the nice things about this upload is see how there's a delete button. So Dior can add as many files as he wants for that presentation, and then maybe there's an old version or something, can just hit delete and get rid of it to make sure that it's got the exact one that he wants to be on site. So once we've seen that someone has uploaded, we come to this screen where we're looking at an overview for the day. This is showing rooms, these are columns, it's showing sessions as those boxes, and then if we hover over a session, we'll see presentations. If I click on that, I can see the details of each of the presentations and the files that have been uploaded. One of the sweet things here is that we can look at info. The server has gone ahead and opened the presentation and then created images of each of the slides. So we can actually see in a quick glance what the slides are, and we get some information here around whether there are videos in the presentation. You can see here there's 19 images and perhaps some things to look into. There's some images that are very large images that you could look at about reducing the size to make the presentation run more smoothly. But the nice thing is when there are videos, that can inform a technician in the room, oh, on slide 6 there's a video, and so they can make sure they've got the audio on and things like that. So that's the file information. We can now move into speaker prep. If we move out a little bit, we're going to see up here, this is an example of in the speaker preparation room on site, where you have a queue. And so this is where you can have multiple speakers come in, and there can be a queue depending on how many workstations you have. In this little setup, we've got 2 workstations. So depending on how you've got your data, whether it's coming from something like Events Air, that can be synced across. But what's really cool about that is that we can tie in to the QR code. The QR code is just an ID behind it. It's just often just a number. And we can attach that to the Slidecrew person and add it as another way of bringing up their registration. And so if we look at this queue up here and I scan this QR code, it's going to say, okay, Mr. Dior, off you go to workstation number 1. So here we would be, this is an example of in a speaker prep room, and it's assigned the person, and so now it says, okay, here's the presentations that we want you to upload. And so here's the presentation that we already uploaded. The person can then just click on it and step through it. They step through their presentation. They want to make any changes, they can make the changes. Depending on how you set it up in the speaker prep room, what we have found is that we can set up these kind of faster self-check-in kiosks. Often we set them up on high bars, and so then here we can have almost an express way of getting lots of speakers through. And then you might have someone that says, oh, I want to fix some videos and I want to change some animations. We say, no worries, let's set you up on a sit-down table and a technician can help you there. And so this is the way that we're handling a speaker prep. If I scan this one as another one, you'll see that Dior is already on station 1, and then this next person, Dr. Zara, she's assigned to station 2, and automatically that goes through. A really nice thing about that queue is that if all the stations were full, and then we had some extras that are waiting, if someone comes through, you can prioritize it. You can choose it that if their session is sooner than others, then they'll jump up the priority list and it'll assign them quickly because their next session might be coming up. So that's kind of the speaker prep area. From there, we move off to digital signage. So in this example, we're seeing here that could be on the outside of the room where it's showing what the current session is and even those presentations that are happening within it. And so that could be outside of the room. Sometimes there's those room information panels. You could use that there. That can be ran on an app or it can be ran through a web browser. We can do that as well. But now we're sitting in the room. There's two key ways that we can run in room. The first one is a kiosk mode. So in kiosk mode, the idea is that it can be used in at a lectern. You could put the laptop just at the lectern. You have no technician in the room. You have a speaker walk up to the lectern, and they see their name there. And here we go. I'm saying I'm Dior, and I'm going to trigger that, and that's going to launch PowerPoint automatically. And what you will see too is there's a timer that's overlaid. So this is a 15-minute presentation. There's a timer there, and that's tied into the system. So then we can have other timers around as well, where that could be up on the head table or in a speaker prep room. You can see what's going on with the timers. Wherever you want to run that, you can see that. So all of that's happening automatically. The presentation finishes, the next speaker comes up, they click on their name, and away they go. Now what you saw there was a PowerPoint presentation, but we can also support other file types. So in this example, this is really cool. This is a PDF. And so it's a PDF file, but you can see here, this is a presenter view for a PDF. So you're seeing current slide and next slide, and you've even got a laser pointer that shows up on the screen there to over a PDF. That's really nice for some speakers that have to provide it in a PDF and might do it last minute, and you can't convert it to a PowerPoint. You can run it straight in Slidecrew as a PDF. Of course, the other example is a video, and so I'll show that one in a second. That's a Keynote. There's a video there. And so with the video, you can still scrub through the video. So you've sort of got this presenter view without showing the scrubber on the main screen. And so that's being able to just play a video out simply. So the other mode I was talking about as well is called a technician mode. And that's what we're seeing here. So this technician is being able to see all the files. And so here's the session and the presentation. And what you'll see here, I'm on a Mac computer right here. This is a Keynote presentation. And we can launch straight away. As it worked with PowerPoint, it's now working with Keynote. So if you've got a Mac in the room, you'll be able to support Keynote. It's one of the settings that you can set in the portal to say whether you'll support Keynote upload or not. And so if you do, then it goes all the way through. So then the final part of the workflow is perhaps you want to make all of these slides available as a PDF. And so then there's a little website. You get approval for publishing those PDFs, and now they'll appear on a website, and you can provide that all to the delegates as a simple output of PDFs. So then the last element was you saw that we talked about e-posters. And so here's a basic e-poster setup that we've got. And we saw in the uploading the e-poster as a PowerPoint presentation. And now here it is. We've seen the e-posters before, the kind of zooming in and working through looking at different e-posters. There's a nice cool little feature here where there's a QR code that'll pop up, and if you scan that on your phone, then you'll be able to get the e-poster on your phone, and you could even email the author and things like that if you allow that. And so then there was things like the categories. All of that can be set up all within the portal, or as I said about integrations with things like Events Air, you could integrate it all the way through and have e-posters working that way. So that's the general thing with Slidecrew, is that you're not touching any of the files, you're not renaming files, you're not dragging them around, you're not copying them. It all gets pushed out to the devices themselves. And I'll just finally touch on how it works from a global point of view in the cloud and local. So from a cloud point of view, what happens is when someone tries to upload a presentation, it will go to the closest data center that we use, global data centers. It'll go to their closest one, which means it's really fast. It'll segment that file into multiple little segments, and then it will it'll encrypt that and store that on the cloud server. Then when you get on site and you say, okay, this machine is for this room, it now downloads all of those, decrypts them, and shows them as PowerPoint files that are stored on that local machine. The extra element is that you can run a local server. No special install process, it's just the one application that is used for all of these elements. You set up the local server, and what that does is it says, okay, I'm now the main server, and all the files will get, for each room, will get taken off that local server. And then if it's also running the database as well. So you could actually lose internet on site and still be able to run your event fine. What's nice about that is you've got redundancy then. So if the local server goes down, it just goes back to the cloud. And so it works in a really nice way running a local server, particularly when you might be moving lots of big files around. Doing that on a local server is a great way to do it. So that's another feature that's built in to Slidecrew. And then the last thing is you don't have to schedule a call to get the pricing and all that annoying stuff. Just go to slidecrew.com/pricing and you can see the little calculator there. It's priced per event day times the amount of rooms. And so you can go through there and you can see exactly how much that's going to cost. And if you're doing presentations and e-posters, you can choose that. And then you get a couple of gig per room per day for cloud storage. If you think it's going to be more than that, you can actually just buy some little add-ons for that too. So that's the way that the pricing works. If you've got any questions, we'd love to hear from you. You can go to slidecrew.com and go to the contact us, and we'll take some questions there. Anyway, hope you enjoy doing your presentations in the future. See ya.